Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Council. I am Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It is our pleasure, our honor to facilitate this talk show. We do it every single month. It is free. It's open to the public. It is right here at the Port St. Lucie Community Center on Arosa Boulevard, right across from City Hall. We'd love for you to join us like all of these fine people did this morning. We have a huge crowd with us. And we provide coffee in Danish, courtesy of our good friends at Steamworks, which is a locally owned business right here on US 1 in Port St. Lucie. I also want to thank my my sponsor, which is, of course, Children's Services Council. You were with us for 2 months in a row. I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Sean Boyle.
They sent in the B team. We had Ashley last month.
We did have Ashley last month. You were out of town, so Ashley pitch hit for you.
Yep.
And it was nice to see her. I don't get to co-host with her very often. And now we switched months. You're usually every other month, and we'll have Veronica Kolobab next month. So, but Children's Services this month. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Our pleasure.
What do we got going on? I see you have your annual impact report.
You know, I'm promoting this everywhere I go.
I know you are.
That's my job, right?
It is.
So we at the Children's Services Council, in case you aren't aware, we fund and make available 54 children's programs in St. Lucie County. Last year, in our annual report, as detailed, reached over 60,000 children, which is a very high, significant number. And we fund in 5 priority categories. Should we quiz you this morning? Do you know those 5 priorities?
Making sure every baby's a healthy baby, stopping child abuse before it happens, keeping kids in school, keeping kids off the streets, and keeping kids off drugs and other risky behaviors. There you go.
Well done. So in the annual report, it kind of rolls up all the data, the accountability measures that we track, and along with the impact that it has, along with success stories. And it's purposely designed to be read in 5 minutes or less.
So we've been doing this show together for
decades.
I'm going to say the better part, more than a decade, because when you were up for referendum, we started doing shows together, and so I feel like even everybody in the audience can tell you how the Children's Services Council works. But these are the funds of the community that are funding all these programs.
Absolutely.
And we voted to do this.
Yep, only 10 in the state of Florida.
And that is because we feel that it's important to make sure those 5 initiatives are held, accountable, and we're working towards that as a community.
Right, and we do a community survey every 2 years just to make sure that the community feels like these should still continue to be our priorities. And we've done that survey 3 times now over the last 6 years, and no one of those priorities has come in less than 95%.
We think they're important.
Right,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is.
And so, we focus not only on providing those services and making them available to children and families, but this, we're also really, because like you said, it's not our money, it's the community's money.
It's the community's money.
So I always joke that accountability is our middle name.
Yeah.
So you have to perform, and when we fund a program, we have proof of receipts and that it left their bank, because we need to account for every penny that leaves our shop.
Yeah, because it is a form of, government oversight.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we sometimes talk about one of the specific programs that we think that people should know about. Is there anything that you think people should know about today?
Well, if, it's a little late in the game, not completely late, but if you're a parent, grandparent, you have a child that you don't know what they're doing over the summer, definitely make sure that they're enrolled in a summer program, because, having been a child that was home alone during the summer, did not always make the best choices. We want to make sure our kids make the best choices, but also that they're in an educational environment, because we want to make sure that they don't slide during the summer. So when they start the school year, they're up to speed with their peers. So we expand our offerings. All of our after-school programs turn into summer programs, and then we put additional funds out to expand them. So this summer we have 30 sites. I counted them before we went live. 30 sites that our funding is helping make available. And if you're a parent or grandparent, in the open market for a summer camp is anywhere between $120 to $150 a week. Now imagine if you have 3 or 4 kids, can you afford that? That's close to $5-6 grand for that summer. So if besides making sure that it's high quality, we also make sure that there's options that are affordable for families. So all of our camps, the cost may go from free to maybe $50 to $60 a week.
And yeah, your camps have to keep their costs down.
Absolutely.
They're
if you
not
take
allowed.
our money, you got to. Part of our obstacle that we want to make sure is that accessibility, including not only transportation, but dollar amount, we're addressing that. Because I get calls from parents, hey, I can send one child, but I've got 2 other kids, where can I take them? I'm like, look at our list. There's many options available.
And they don't have to qualify financially.
No.
You
They
can
just
sign your
up.
kids
Yeah.
up for these camps, and you don't have to qualify financially.
Right.
And I think that that's important because people don't know that. They think, well, I have 5 kids, but I can, technically I don't qualify for. You don't have to qualify.
Well, and what we did this summer is we really took a hard look at, most people when they think about camps, they're like, oh, they're going to go play sports and go to the water park, and we're going to do all that, of course, but we placed heavy emphasis on the arts this year because we know that attracts a different population than, let's say, the football or basketball camps. But also we put a little bit extra focus on making sure that there are camps available for children with autism.
Oh, okay.
Because that's another hard population to find quality summer offerings.
Yeah. There's not enough of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
And then can I, one more plug?
Yep. One more.
Another exciting thing, and many of you may know, you may have heard of Bookman, our reading superhero that's come out of the Children's Services Council through our St. Lucie Reads effort to make sure that children are reading on grade level. We bring together all the partners that are working on reading to make sure that we're complementing each other as opposed to competing with each other. Our role in that is to make sure that children have books in their homes. We can emphasize reading at school, but if they don't have reading material at their home, it really is for naught, right? And so, and I always cite this study. It wasn't done in St. Lucie County. It was actually done in Maryland, but they did a survey of a few communities, and they found in middle and higher income households, there was on average 13 books for every child. Like in a household, they had 13 reading material. When they looked at children in low income areas, they found that there was 1 book for every 300 children. How do we expect children to read if they don't have their own little libraries, for example, at home? So we have an effort of making sure children get books in the homes. One of our efforts is we're now going to be in 3 more schools. We're putting in book vending machines. So we partner with the school or the library or any business. We'll pay for half if they pay for the other half. And then we will help with the maintenance and make sure that it's stocked with books. But the schools, for example, there's one at Windmill Point, White City. There's going to be one at Manatee, Savannah Ridge, River's Edge. I'm missing a school. There's one at the Zora Neale Hurston Library. But they reward the kids, either whether it be on behavior or if they see them doing a kind act, they give them a token. And they go to this vending machine, it lights up, and there's great choices that they want to read, not just the books that we could get on cheap, but actually quality books. They put in that book, put in that token, and the book comes out, and they have a book that they can take home.
I love that. And they get to keep it.
Absolutely.
It's their book. Yeah, it is. Reading is fundamental to everything in life, right? And we know from studies, if they can't read, it's really the major obstacle between them and success.
And we're trying to make reading fun. That's why we have the book Superhero. We always tell kids, like, reading is a superpower. It can take you places you would never be able to go had you not been able to read. And so John Caesar from our office, who literally changes personality when he puts on that mask, is great. And we're super excited and grateful that we were adding 3 more schools.
And hopefully you'll be with us again for our Swing into Summer reading at the Met Stadium is in May, and that is when, and you can find more information at stluciechamber.org. We're going to be out at the Mets. It's a Saturday. Kids get in free, and adults will be paying for adults to get in. With every child, you get 1 adult entry.
That's great.
And we'll be out there for Swing into Summer. That's a reading initiative as well. So very good.
All right.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you.
All right. Happy to have you. Thank you for sponsoring. And we're going to take a short break. And how do they get this before we go?
They can go to our website. We love our acronyms in the nonprofit world. So it's the acronym for Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. So go to www.cscslc.org.
Perfect. And with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Councilman David Pickett. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Council. I am still Teresa Aronson, but now I am joined by our council representative from the city of Port St. Lucie, and that, of course, is Councilman David Pickett this month. Welcome to the show, Councilman.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking. I see we both have our table of papers.
Our little talking points.
Our talking points. What have you got for us? Well, let's start off with you. What have you got?
I want to start by talking about Port St. Lucie's 64th birthday.
Our 64th.
64th birthday.
So this is 2025,
April 27th,
61?
correct? April 27th at,
Yep.
at the Historical Museum from 11 to 4.
11 to 4.
11 to 4.
We'll be at the Historical Museum,
Museum at Pioneer
which
Park.
just opened up, which is down at Pioneer Park, right by, for those of you that don't know, the Port St. Lucie Botanical Gardens and that beautiful park that they put in for kids.
That is a great park.
And we're calling it the Port.
The Port.
Yes.
And actually, by attendance, that's our most attended park in the city.
Well, it is amazing. It is an amazing park. I had not gone to it because my kids are grown, but my great nephew came and we took him there. And that park is pretty state of the art.
Yeah, when you drive by there at any given time, that parking lot is full.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Have you all been there? Show of hands. I mean, even if you don't have kids, it's kind of fun, to be honest with you.
That's probably 75% of the room that's been there.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's
How many of you
amazing.
have been to the museum? Well, that was less impressive, I've got to say. That was a smidgen at best. So they're all going to be there when?
April 27th from 11
There
to 4.
you go. That's your opportunity, April
And
27th.
just go in and just meander around the room, the different rooms there, because there's a whole array of
Artifacts.
yes,
and
thank you.
I'm with you. I'm
Thank you
here
very
for you.
much.
I also want to mention that by the time people see this show at home, April 27th will have gone and passed. So they're going to go to their next event or go on their own free time because the museum is open Tuesday through Saturday, right?
Wednesday through
Wednesday
Saturday.
through Saturday,
But
not
there's
Tuesdays yet.
There's a lot of history in there, and the people that's in there are the volunteers that are there. They've been here in Port St. Lucie, so they're able to talk about the history of Port St. Lucie. And those of you who are into history, it's you know, it's enlightening to see where we come from to where we're at now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's a relatively small town. I mean, 64 years.
64 years, we're pretty young.
Is pretty young for a city. Did you all know that? We've only been around for 64 years. In terms of cities, that's pretty
pretty
young,
young, yeah.
considering Fort Pierce is hundreds.
Right.
You know, but I think we've amassed a pretty good history, a pretty interesting history in that relatively short amount of time. We certainly have grown much quicker than most cities in 64 years. We've really exceeded at growth. That's one thing.
Well, I know I've been here. I got here. I moved here permanently in '92, and since '92, we've quadrupled in size.
Yeah, we came in hard and fast. That's for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, good. So everybody put that on your. Listen, if you're watching at home, just go down there.
Yeah, just go down and visit the people at the Historical Society and tell them Dave sent you.
Okay, very good. It's much. That house is much bigger inside than I thought it was going to be too. So, very good.
But
What else you got going on?
recently, we had the Business Accelerator spring course concluded, and 36 businesses participated.
I love that.
Yeah, that was wonderful. And out of those, 12 of those participants applied for small business reimbursement grants up to $5,000 for a total of $60,000. And all those grants went to the businesses here in Port St. Lucie. So that was a great way for them to spark the start of their business.
So for those of you that don't know, the Business Accelerator Program is one of my favorite things. People call my office all the time through the chamber and are looking for grants, mostly for startups, which, just so you know, doesn't really exist unless you're in the city of Port St. Lucie. And how it works is you take this class, and you can contact Elijah Luton does it, and it's called the Business Accelerator class, and anybody can do it. And once you finish the class, you could then apply for a reimbursement grant. And it is a $5,000 reimbursement class. And you have to do a project, and you come before a panel of 3 people. I've sat on that panel before. And you present your project. And just so you know, we've never denied anybody. Don't tell anyone. Everybody gets it. But technically, you're applying. And but it is reimbursement, so you spend $5,000, and then we'll reimburse you your business expenses up to $5,000 if you finish this Business Accelerator class. And anyone can do it. There's no reason not to do it.
No, there's absolutely no reason not to do it. Plus, the networking aspect of it. That's you can't you can't quantify that in dollars.
No, the only qualifying is that you have to have your business in the city of Port St. Lucie. So you have to have a city of Port St. Lucie business tax receipt saying that your business is in the city of Port St. Lucie. And honestly, it can be home-based, it can be any business, but it has to be in the city of Port St. Lucie.
Yeah, I sat on one of those. Well, I wasn't a judge. I just was invited to while they were judging several years ago, and there was some pretty interesting businesses that come through there.
It's a wide variety. We've had fashion businesses. We had Arc Labs. Our good friend Cliff Gray did it. We've had AC businesses. We've had roofing businesses. It's literally any business that you can think of. You can do this, and it's not an upfront grant, so it's not a startup. It's a reimbursement grant.
Right.
Yeah. So I see a lot of business faces going, as they should be. I think the next one's probably not till the fall.
Right.
Yeah, but definitely do that. Good. Love that.
So
What else?
we started on Floresta Construction's Phase 3, and that should be completed sometime next year. But the important thing to remember about the Floresta Drive project is that whole project's funded with our half-cent sales tax. And when you look at Port St. Lucie, we're one of the few cities who are very transparent with everything we do. The half-cent sales tax, as a taxpayer myself, it's very enlightening to drive around the city and see roadways that's completed, repaving, sidewalks that's been done, and the signs right there. It says this project was paid for by your half-cent sales tax, and it's nice to see that where your tax money's going.
Yeah.
And it's very enlightening, and it's something that me as a taxpayer and as an elected official are very proud to promote that program.
So that was also a referendum that we
Correct.
as a community voted on. We said, yep, you can raise our sales tax another 0.5%, so we're at a full 7% sales tax, and that 0.5 goes to roadway projects. Now there is on each jurisdiction, actually, I'm not sure if I think Fort Pierce does too. They all have someplace on their own city or jurisdiction website that tells you exactly what projects they're working on with that 0.5 sales tax. So you can look up, like, when is my road being done?
Yeah, and we have a this brochure that comes out every month that lists all the projects that we're working on and what's completed, what's been completed, and what's coming up. So this is available on the city's website. So just go to www.portstlucie.com, type in 0.5 sales tax, and it'll come up, and you can see when your road is scheduled, when a sidewalk in your neighborhood might be. Not every neighborhood is getting sidewalks, so don't.
No, they do, major arterial
Right.
roads first, Bay Shore and all the major boulevards. They do, neighborhood roads are going to be last because they want to do the bus routes first.
Well, Bay Shore is another road project that's coming up. It's going up for public discussion. I think it's the end of next week when they have the public outreach where they can come in, and it's going to be from the roundabout at Selvets Road to widening from roundabout at Selvets Road to Prima Vista, and that's the last segment of Bay Shore that will be 4-laned. So there's several different options they're gonna present to the public, but if you look at that whole road, it's 4 lanes from basically here at Port St. Lucie Boulevard
To Prima Vista.
and that's the only section that isn't 4 lanes. So
Yeah. They'll fix that.
hopefully. So, and lastly, I want to promote Vet Fest. Vet Fest is something that we've worked on for a while, and it's finally coming to fruition. It would be May 15th. May 15th? 24th, excuse me. I'm thinking of the AC/DC concert. May 24th.
Which is not here in City of Port St. Lucie.
May
Don't confuse
24th
anybody.
at Mid-Florida Event Center. And Live Markets is actually, they're doing all the booth vendors that we're having there. So it's a program bringing in different veterans organizations, and they're doing different aspects of the festival. So whatever aspect they do, so for example, one group is doing a car show and one group is doing a Jeep show. So whoever does the car show, all that money made off the car show goes directly to that veterans organization. all the money made off the Jeep show goes to that veterans organization. And then Live Markets, they're partnering with Vet Fest, and a portion of what they make from the booth vendors will be split amongst the participating veterans organizations. So it's just a way for veterans organizations to raise funds without having to stand outside Publix. And because let's face it, most of the vets around here are, they're like me, they're getting a little older, and we're not wanting to stand out in the heat so much. So this is just a great way for us to all raise funds for our organization.
Very good. And you keep referring to Live Markets and events. So I had mentioned before we started that we have a showcase for new members at this event every month. If they don't have a brick and mortar for us to do a ribbon cutting, we invite our new members to come down to this event and showcase their business. So Live Markets and Events is with us today, and so is Jill Todd with her Bonneville Football Academy is with us as well. So we're happy to have both of them.
Live Markets, they do their marketing at Mid Florida on Sundays, 10 to 2, right? 9 to 2.
Very good.
And it's a great little market. I've been there several times, and there's always people there.
Good.
So it's something that's growing, and it's something for the East Side.
Yeah.
That Tradition has one that they do in Tradition, but this is strictly, on the East Side. So people that live on the East Side of Port St. Lucie don't have to drive to the West Side of Port St. Lucie to go to an outdoor market.
Good.
So.
And we are working on, we've talked several times on this show about Walton and One, the project
Right.
on the east side at the Mid-Florida Event Center. So we're still, that is a CRA, we're still looking for funding so we can get that up and off the ground. But we did do the community survey. We all know what we want over there, right?
Everybody's put their 2 cents in, and we've heard you loud and clear. And hopefully, and that was one thing that when we went to Tallahassee here a couple weeks ago, that I personally spoke about to our legislators about opposing the House bill and the Senate bill to take away the CRA funding. So those of you who don't know, CRA funding helped bring businesses to Southern Groves. The CRA money and the TIF funding helped bring businesses to Southern Groves. That's 1,200 people that have jobs in Port St. Lucie now that don't have to travel outside of Port St. Lucie. Now, instead of making money in Palm Beach, that money's made right here in Port St. Lucie. And that was a 25-year build-out, 25 or 30-year build-out, and we did it in 7. We've got 30 acres left of 1,200. They said it was going to take 25 to 30 years to build out. We did it in 7. And it was all because of the CRA and TIF money. We plan on doing the exact same thing on the east side of the city with Walton and One, but we need that. We need that CRA money. We need that TIF money. And if the legislators pull that project might never come off the ground. So it's very important that, call your local legislators, tell them to oppose that, because that's businesses that's going to come to Port St. Lucie. And some of the businesses that we have in line to come there, I think you all will find very interesting, and it's going to be very popular. So.
Well, we have a couple things coming up for the chamber. We have our annual Fishing Frenzy, which is a fishing tournament that we do. It's we've been doing this thing for a couple of decades now in the city of Fort Pierce. I hate to say that, but that's where the port is. I can't help it. That's where the inlet is. It's the only way to get out. So it's May 9th and 10th, and it is hopefully this year we'll get 100 boats so we can give away that $10,000 to whoever drags in the heaviest fish. That's my hope. And we take all size boats, so go online if you're interested in that. And then, of course, our golf tournament at PGA, which, just so you know, our golf tournament is still only $200 to golf at PGA.
That's amazing.
And literally nobody's, I don't even think you can golf at PGA for $200, to be honest with you. Can you? And we're going to feed you on top of that, and we're going to give you free beer and spirits. Just so you know.
I see a bunch of heads just went up when you said free beer.
Yeah, it's free beer, and I have free alcohol running around on carts. You are well fed and well
hydrated.
Yes, let's say hydrated. So for $200, and hopefully, I really need sponsors for that golf tournament, and it is a fundraiser, and I definitely need to make sure that we are raising funds. So golf tournament, fishing frenzy coming up for us.
Nice.
What else do you have going on this city? Anything you need to tell them?
Well,
We can take questions.
I just
but-
come from right before here. We had the official raising of the wall of the the new police building.
Oh yeah, the new training academy
facility, yeah.
facility for the police department. The city of Port St. Lucie is getting their own training facility for the police departments because we are always in a shortage, a deficit of officers, and we need to be able to train them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I
So
saw
now-
that.
Now we're not having to send officers to Okeechobee or to Jupiter.
IRC or yeah. Very good.
They'll be able to train them right here on our own facility, and that's going to be, that's going to save us a bunch of money, and plus it's something that, as a growing city, that we needed anyway. So
It is.
it's very something that was very much needed.
Good. Well, we do take questions in the audience off camera, unfortunately, because we don't have the ability to do it on camera. And we always tell people, if you have questions for our council people, come down here. That's why we have this open to the public. So we're going to do that for a little while, but we're going to sign off the show now. I want to thank my staff. I want to thank the staff at the city, and I want to, of course, thank our sponsor, Mr. Sean Boyle. And I want to thank Michael and his family at Steamworks and at the Crepe Place now, and everything that they do in the community. We just had a ribbon cutting for the Crepe Place, and I'm super excited. He has locations on the east and west side of our beautiful city. So make sure that you are frequenting and patroning that locally owned and run business. All right? So thank you, everybody, for coming down. Have a great day, but stick with us. If you're here in the audience, we're gonna give them some extra time. All right.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
everyone.
day, everybody.